Okay, we're going to talk today about action plans. Action plans are part of the eEdge system, although they were not created by Market Leader or any of those other companies. They were actually created by Keller Williams. And so it's an interesting piece, but it's a part of the eEdge system. My name is Maureen. I'm a KWU trainer and a technology person in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton area. Some folks on the call are not from this area. Okay, what we're going to do today, we're going to go through action plans, but before we get started, could you put a little note in the question box if you have used action plans before? Could you just write yes in there? If you have not, just say no. I want to get an idea of what level everybody's at so that I could go through the training. So if you have, say yes. If not, say no, and I'll get a good feeling for it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So most of the people are not that familiar with action plans. What I'm going to do first is just roll through this presentation that I prepared, and then I'm going to go live onto the MyKW system and we'll show you some of the action plans. What action plans are intended to do is to be a checklist for you. So if you are one to make lists of things to do, this will be comfortable for you because it creates your things to do list. And Keller Williams designed it with the help of many, many agents on what they would do for certain situations. So for example, you might have an action plan when you add a new buyer to your client list. You might have another action plan when you take a listing, and that'll give you the things to do for the listing. And some of those things you kind of forget that they might be a good idea, that it would have some items on that list that you might think, I never thought to do that. That would be pretty impressive. And so it not only keeps you organized, but it might give you some ideas on how to do a better job at that action item. So that's what the action plans are, and they're right in the front of your nose when you sign on to MyKW, so you can't miss it. All right, so that is your list. Now my desk looked like this. I don't know, I could probably take a picture and send it to you, but here I have left today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 24 sticky notes stuck to my desk right now, and that is down about half from yesterday. And so I started laughing when I saw that the topic today was action plans, because this is what I really need to be doing. And last night I thought I'm going to take my sticky notes and create action items for myself. I didn't get to it, but I think I'll do that by this evening, because the sticky notes all over the desk, they're just not working for me. So that's kind of how, if you're out of control with your sticky notes, then this action plan program is perfect for you. And so jump right in and just try to use it right away. And I'm going to do that. That's my commitment tonight. So if anyone tries it this evening or tomorrow and thinks it's great, then let me know. And then we can pass that information along, because I think that there's no better way to keep us organized. Okay, so action plans. When you sign into MyKW, on the eEdge control panel is a link for action plans. So it's very easy to find right in front of your nose. So when you click, you can click the icon, the link, My Tasks Due, or click the plus sign, and any one of those things will bring you to the action plan system. And once you're there, you have a dashboard. On the now it still says beta. I believe even the live version says beta, and I'm not really sure why, because it's been out for a while now. But if you notice the dashboard across the top, they have just the dashboard link, starting a plan, and a drop down, because it's going to give you different options for plans. Managing templates. So a template would be the list of things to do for that plan. So a plan might be add a new buyer or new buyer, And then the template would be all the things you do now that you have the buyer. Activated plans will show you all of the plans you currently are working with. So if I have 5 buyers and 3 sellers, I might have 5 buyer plans and 3 seller plans, 1 for each person, and they might run at different times. And then I can search for contacts to add them to my action plans. Now down here on the dashboard, all of the items for the plan are broken out into different categories. So all of the items on a plan would be in the All tab. If you want to look at only the email that you're required to do, that would be under the Email tab. The phone call tab. Your to-do list, which might not fall in email or calling, it might be picking up a lockbox or dropping off a sign, that's in your to-do list. Appointments that you might have, regular mail that you might have to do, and then if you've assigned it to a team member. And you might think, well, I'm not on a team, I don't have a team member. It's not, the team tab doesn't necessarily relate to a formal team. So your team could be anybody in the office that has action plans. So let's say that you are doing a deal with another agent in the office and you want to get the buyers, you have the listing, let's say, you want to get the buyer's proof of funds. You might assign an action item for that listing to the buyer's agent in the office to say, give me the proof of funds, and that could be a team item, and that's where it would show up. And then down below it shows all of the entries, what's required, who was assigned by, when the due date is, what the status is, and then if you want to add it to the eEdge calendar. So that's really the whole dashboard. Does anybody have any questions about the dashboard? Okay. So what are the basics to the plan? Well, the first thing you do, and okay, I use this as a presentation from KWRI. It used to be that we'd have to select a contact, but now they've changed that. That's a recent update, that the plan doesn't necessarily have to be tied to a specific contact. So this is optional now to select the contact. But normally, I think on most occasions, my action plans will be assigned to a contact, either a buyer or a seller. So you could come in, you could select your buyer or seller, then you can select which template you want to use. New agent setup, and these are plans that happen to be in the KWRI. You might not have new agent setup and agent intake. There might be some other plan templates. We'll go through that when we go live. And you assign that to a contact. Then you go in and edit the information to make it specific for your contact. Then you click Start. And once you start it, those plans will show up under the activated plan link. So that would be started. All right. So that's it. That's all there is to it. You have a contact, pick a plan, edit to set up what is the start date, and that will automatically adjust all of the items in the plan, and then click to start. Okay. I talked about the team. The team are the people that are assigned to tasks, and again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person on an actual team with you. It could be anyone in your office. If you have an action plan, let's say for a referral that you have given out to an agent in Nebraska, that Nebraska agent could be on the team for your template for referrals for that client. You might have client Susie on a referral template and assign to the team the agent who you gave the referral to, and their task might be to get the referral sheet signed and back to you. And then you might later add a task saying, give me an update. So think about that. It's your to-do list, the things that you would want to do, and you just set it up in a plan. Okay, so it says start the plan by contact, and you start by contact or by template. So if we start by contact, we click on Start a Plan. The down arrow gives us by contact. And then we can search for a contact's name, like John, and bring up everybody that's John, and then click the radio button here. Radio button, just a push button. It looks like a push button, but it's on the computer, of the contact that you want. Then you pick your template. So there's a not met contact, a post close. There's all kinds of templates in this sample. Let me see if I can bring this up closer. And then we'll go in and look at the actual plans that we have at this point. Okay. So we select that plan. And then here's where we go and edit the information. And then we can assign each task seller update phone call. So here's a task. So let's say you do have an administrative assistant and you have a seller update phone call, and that's for the administrative assistant. And the plan is for Alexis. You can assign that to somebody in your office or team or your assistant to make that phone call, and it will show up as an item for them, and I'll show you where that happens. And then we start the plan, we activate the plan. And then there's the plan details. So on each action plan, the details tells us the effective date when it starts. It tells us each of the line items and who it's been assigned to. So let's say you want to edit this task. So you would click on it and then open it up, and you can change the dates, change the timing, change the assignment, and change the status. If let's say the plan is not complete enough, that the Keller Williams plan looks pretty good, but there's 2 or 3 things that you do differently, then up here you would add a task, and you would add the item that you would do that might not be included in that plan. You can also print out the list, or you can export the list. So if you give updates to your clients, you can come in and export this and show them what's been done so far and what's left to do. You can also, down here, change the status, mark as complete, and you would check off which of these items you want to mark as complete, mark on hold, not started, or delete those items. There may be some things that you don't do as part of your business that's in a plan. To edit the task, it gives you information that you can edit. For example, update seller contact with new address. So this is after, let's say that a seller has sold a property and is moving. One of the items is to put the new address in your contact database. So what is that? That would be a to-do item. It's not an email or a call, it's a to-do item. You can type a description if you like. What's the priority on that? When is it due? Who is the contact? And then all of this information is specific to that task item. Okay. Now, I talked about having a plan for referrals. I put some of my referrals in action plans, and right here it says I can add an attachment on the left side. So I can actually go in and upload the referral agreement and then assign it to an agent outside of the office. Then I mentioned that this button shows you all the activated plans in the system. So these are all the plans that are active. These are the people that they're applied to, and then how many tasks of the total tasks that have been completed. So this one, open house for this client, there are 31 total tasks. 31 total tasks, 0 have been completed. Open house, 0 of 30. Post-close, 0 of 17, so they haven't started those plans. Here, buyer contract to close, 2 of the tasks completed, and for this listing, 4 of the tasks have been completed. So it'll track it for you when you come in, and you can see exactly where you are in the process. Okay, so let's go live. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Okay, let's go live and let me show you how it really works. So here I am on my dashboard, and here are the action plans. So I can click the plus sign, and here are new tasks assigned to me, team tasks that are overdue, there's 1, team tasks in progress. This that's overdue is a referral that I sent to another agent in a different market center, but they don't even know it's there. I had mentioned to them, but they don't use action plans yet. I was just trying it out. So I can click anywhere to get over to the action plan. So I'm going to click any link, and it's going to take me to the action plan screen. Okay, still says beta. This is the dashboard. All my tasks 0. I don't have any tasks. There's some team tasks, but my tasks are 0. Start a plan by contact or by template. Manage templates, activated plans. Let me see what plans are activated. This little waiting for my KW. That's what we see. Okay, there we go. So my activated plans is just an agent-to-agent referral. Okay. Now one thing here, this agent-to-agent referral, I have no clue who that's for because I forgot to change the name on that template. So that's one thing we want to remember to do. All right, so let's go to the dashboard and let's start a plan. So let's say you are taking a listing and you want to get ready for that listing. So I'm going to start a plan by contact. And I'm going to search for the contact. I'm going to put Maureen, and I'm going to search and see if I can find myself in here so I don't assign it to anybody for the test. And here I am. So I'm going to assign it to here. This is my contact. I'm going to select the contact. And then here are the templates. Am I going to have an open house? Is it a met? A not met, post-close, well, it's a listing. So here's my listing action plan down here. Now there's 2 pages. There's 14 different templates that are set up. So I'm going to go to my listing and click listing and then associate the selected plan with the contact. Yes, I already picked Maureen, so I'm going to continue. So here's my plan. Now let's say I'm going to take the listing on Monday. So I'm going to change this date. I click in the date box to Monday. That's the effective date. And the listing is for Maureen, and the action plan is for Maureen, and not me. It's Maureen, the listing person. Now I have the option, if an item, because it says that the things that will happen in the plan, it's 1 day after, 2 days after. If one of those action items ends up falling on a Saturday, do I want to allow it to fall on a Saturday, or do I want to move it to a different day? So do I want to not disturb the client with my regular tasks on the weekend? So if it falls on a Saturday, I want to move that to the previous Friday. If it falls on a Sunday, I want to move that to the next Monday. And that's how you wouldn't disturb the client with some of the busy work on the weekend. You can choose to do that or not. You know, that's up to you. But that's what that particular section does. I want to select a plan. I want to assign it to a team member. I want all of them to be assigned to a team member, and I get to pick what market center. Any market center. But I already have it in my market center because I'm going to assign it to me. And then down here it lists people that I have assigned plans to. So on some of my tests, I've assigned some plans to some of these folks. Well, I'm going to assign it to myself right here. And then there's all these other people I can assign it to. If I can pick another market center if it's a referral and assign it to another market center and the person in that market center. But here I'm just selecting myself. I'm going to assign all tasks to myself. Okay, and then up here I click Start a Plan. So that's it. That's all I have to do. Set the effective date, design the name and description, decide whether I want to move the weekend activities, and then assign it to myself or somebody else in the organization and click Start. Now I have an activated plan. So success, I created a new action plan for this contact. There's my contact. My effective date is Monday. I have 0 of 32 tasks completed. So let's see what tasks they are. There are 7 calls, no emails, 7 calls, 24 to do, 1 appointment, and no mail. There's 32 things altogether. So the first thing is to schedule or obtain photos. So I need to schedule that. Once it's scheduled, I can mark it complete. I want to obtain the seller's disclosure and lead-based paint if necessary. I need a key from the seller. I need to obtain a listing agreement, assign the lockbox to the property, update the listing client contact information, deliver a copy of the listing documentation to the client. Now, email or deliver, that's usually through .loop. So you may adjust this and say, I'm going to click that link. And it says email, deliver a copy. So I want to edit it. And I might change that to deliver copy of listing documentation to listing client via .loop. Sometimes you might have a client that you don't use .loop with, maybe someone that doesn't have a computer, an elderly client, maybe someone who's nervous about computers. So you would want to define maybe how you're doing this, whether in your action plans, this is a good way to document what you're doing so you can go back to it. And I want to do that via .loop. I can make any other changes. This is 1 day after effective date. The due date is the 12th. If I decide I want it in a different timing, then I can do that. I click Save. And it's thinking. It's a good time to get a drink of water. Okay, so now it says deliver a copy of listing documentation to client via .loop. And if I want it to be on a different day, I could change that. So that's all correct. I'm going to go back to my task list, I think. Previous task, next task. Where do I get back to my activated plans? I'll go back there. Activated plans. And I'm going to click on this listing plan. So I'm going to notice as I'm going through that a lot of these things are assigned to the same day. I want to schedule the photos on Monday. I want to obtain the seller disclosure on Monday. I want the key on Monday. That's the listing date. I want the listing agreement on Monday. Assign the box. I want all this Monday. The documentation to the client is the day after I take the listing. Create a home book. So what would that be? What would it mean to you? You could go put a description and you can assign that to an admin or someone who might create the book for you, some documentation about the property that you might leave at the home. Add the listing to the MLS. That's within 24 hours there on this next day. Create or order a virtual tour. Well, that might come through your photography. So you might click this one and delete it because you don't need a virtual tour. It's through your photography, or at least with me it would be. So then you can take items off the list. Check FHA VA registry to determine qualification. You might not need to do that. That might not be part of the things for this list. I'm going to go to the next page, page 2. I'm showing 1 to 10 of 31 items. Page 2, create the individual website or landing page. That's on the day after listing. Property flyer the day after. A listing domain name. So all of these things that you can do. Now let's say there's something else that you want to do. Let's say you use a tool, listings to leads, and you want to post on Craigslist, or you want to air property to Craigslist here via listing to leads. So they've added some of these things in that we might not think of. Seller update phone call. Maybe you want to, prior to the update phone call, you want to add a task in, let's say before the call is on the 18th and staging consultation on the 14th. So let's say on the 17th. So it was added the 11th, so that's 6 days after. I want to go back up here and I want to add a new task. And the task is pull listing activity from Realtor.com. And I don't need a description because that is the description. It's a to-do item. It's medium, and I want it 6 days after the listing because that'll put it right before I call them with the updates. 6 days after, and I want to save. Now remember, we have Realtor.com. Not everybody does. Most of our market centers here do. If your market center does have the enhanced Realtor.com, then you want to go in and add additional pictures. So that might be another task that you add. So when I come back to my activated plans and I look at my listing, then I'll be able to see that I added an item. And remember, we started on the 11th, so 6 days after would be the 17th. So on the 17th, I added pull listing activity from Realtor.com. So I have that available to present to the seller when I update their phone call, when I call them and give them an update on the phone. All right, does anyone have any questions at this point? John's asking if I get a domain name for each of my listings. Sometimes I do. I just buy the .info because it's like 99 cents, but sometimes I do that. The clients like it. So that's not an all the time thing. I just have 16 expiring now. I just get them for 1 year and then let them expire. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay. So we're going to go through and see what all the tasks are here. Run the new CMA, phone call, seller updates, market statistics, and Scotty, my dog's growling back here while she's sleeping right behind me. So it's not me growling. So those are the items that we would have on our listing plan. And again, you can modify them, you can update them, you can assign them to other people. So let's say I have a team, and let's say I don't get the photographs. Let's say another team member always orders the photographs. So I can take this particular item, which is assigned to me, and I can edit that, and I can assign it to somebody else. So down here, assigned to a team member, I can click Team Assignment. And let's say it's in Bradenton, Manatee. I can search for somebody. I'm going to look for Kath. I start typing part of her last name. It comes up. I click her name, and I select that member. And now I look at the plan that is assigned to Kathleen, and it will show up on her list as an assignment, a job to do on an action plan. And we'll go back to that in a minute. So that's how we go through as we complete the tasks, obtain this, assign lockbox, update. I do all of these things. I mark as complete, and it changes the status here from not started to complete. And then this is requested for Kathleen, completed here, not started. I might say I'm going to put the sign, brochure box, lockbox on property. I'm going to put that on hold because I had to order that. So either I put it on hold or I might change the date that it goes in a little later. See, and there's some, and that'll show in red so it'll stand out. Okay. So when I go back to the dashboard, I'll see that I have on my dashboard tasks that are due 2 weeks from now. They're displayed. So there's all of them. I have one call I'm supposed to make, seller call on the 18th. I have 14 to-do items. Some of them are due on the 11th, 12th, it depends. I have one appointment to make. I have to do a staging consultation, and I've got to schedule that by the 14th. Doesn't mean I have to do it on the 14th. I have to schedule it. And then there's 3 things that are team. I have this referral that's sent out. That was an older request in February. I have Kathleen assigned to obtain photos for the property. And then I have this is just an old, I can get rid of these here, but those are old. So on this particular one, Kathleen is assigned for a listing for Maureen Legis to get the photographs. So that's it. Okay. Now let me go back to manage templates. I think it's manage templates. I'm going to show you one other thing on manage templates. Okay, so there's 2 custom templates. Those are ones that I designed, agent referral, agent to agent referral. I was practicing and seeing what would work. And you can design a custom template here, create a new template. You can make your own. And you can practice that because you can always delete it. The core templates are the ones that have been assigned by Keller Williams. Custom templates that I have removed are here. And then there's a library. So what is the library? These are templates that other agents have set up and put in here. So here Beth Torrance put a test template in. And just to see how it works, you can create a template and put it in the library so other agents can use it. And if you decide to do that, it should be very, very clear what the name of it is so that agents would know and be able to search. New agent setup, follow this plan when setting a new agent with KW technology. That's Annie agent. So we know that's a test. So some of these should really be removed by KWRI. So just look at them and see if there's anything that you think that you want to add to your, so here if I do new agent setup and click that, you can see some of the tasks that were put into this plan and when they were due. And you can import it as a new custom plan for your business. So that would come under Manage Templates. And Library. Now if you're creating a custom, here's custom, create a new template. And if you are using it, I would use it a little bit first before you add it to the library. All right, does anyone have any questions at this point? If we get an offer, do we put our action plan on hold or you get another action plan? So if you have a listing plan and you haven't completed all of the tasks, like some of the tasks, let me go back to my activated plans and I look at my listing plan for Maureen. I'm going to go to the very back end, the last things that we have to do. So I'm going to go to page 4, it's 32, run a new CMA with current market, seller update phone call, and I might continue to do this as time goes on. But let's say I get an offer before here, then you can take these items and delete them. Or seller update phone call, it might be an update that you might change the date of. So let's say, let me go back to page 3. Let's say we added this on 3/11 and we got an offer on 4/20 and by 4/22 the offer was accepted. Seller update phone call on 4/22, I might delete it. Seller update phone call on 5/10, I might modify this and then give them the update after I get the, so I might edit this and say update seller with details of buyer mortgage approval. So you might add tasks to your plan to make it more specific to where you are, what the situation is for that plan. Does that answer your question? Great. Okay. All right, so that is really all there is to plans. Now, John asked a question which I skipped over for a minute, John, because it didn't have to do with the actual flow of the action plans, but it could. So on your activated plan, when you have a listing, let's say a listing here, I'm going to go through and see that what I want to do is get the listing agreement, deliver a copy, where is this? Update the listing client information, seller disclosure, lockbox, place the sign, deliver a copy of the listing, create the home book, check the registration. I might not want that. I'm going to go to page 2, create the website, order the flyer, listing domain, add to MLS and KWLS. So John asked a question, how do we add that to the KWLS? So that's a little bit off topic because it's not really action plans. It's about Keller Williams listing service. So let me show you how to do that in a minute. Let's make sure we have all the questions answered on this. All right, Patty's asking, I thought this was to organize your business from contract to close. From contract to close. This, all of the tasks that are in here deal with, let me go back to manage templates, deal with that particular task. So when we get the listing, then that would be the listing template. Now if I want to look at the other core templates, then you would have a buyer contract to close and a seller contract to close. So I mentioned before that you can adjust the template for the listing and add some of the updates that you might have for contract to close, or you can come and assign to that seller a new contract to close template. So let's look and see what that template has. And again, you might adjust it specifically for your business. So open title, submit the contract, coordinate inspection, receive confirmation. So this would be another plan that you would put into effect for that client once they go under contract. And you can add more items to this as need be. So it is customizable, and you might find, see it here, copy as a new custom if you want, because you can create your own. You can leave this one alone, create a new custom, and add things to it. You might also find under the custom templates that other people have already designed, this library, that there might be some contract to close templates that are more similar to what you might be looking for. Residential listing, contract to close, Jessica Fox. Let's look at this one, contract to close. And this might be more of along the lines of what you might do. So this one is 21 items, appraisal calendared, finance contingency, order title, and all the way down it's 3 pages of what to do for contract to close. So does that answer your question? Okay, so you might have a client assigned to multiple action plans, but you would decide based on what is happening at the time how you want to do that. Okay, so KWLS, and we can touch on that. That's one of the items on the listing action plan. I'll go back there again. Activated. I meant to type, do what I think, not what I say. Listing. Okay, so for the listing plan, one of the items here would be add the listing to the MLS and KWLS, and you might assign that to somebody. KWLS is the Keller Williams Listing Service, and what that would be, let me just see if I have another question. Yeah, I have an agent-to-agent referral that is very simple. This is a question, do I have an agent-to-agent referral that I would share? And I would if it actually was anything worthwhile. Let me show you what I created. And it was just for a class that I taught, and then I tried to use it for 1 or 2 of the referrals I sent out. But we need to make that a little bit nicer. But let me show you what my custom agent-to-agent referral. Agent referral form, get it signed, referral complete. That's it. So it's really not, I was just trying to add and create a custom and add tasks to it. But we can do that together if everyone wants to come up with a agent-to-agent referral and put in there, 1 week after, 2 weeks after, however it is that you want updates, and then get people to actually use it. I don't know if it is in, let's see if anybody put that down. I've been talking about it with KWRI, so let's see if it's in the library here. Referral. Nothing with referral. So we can look at trying to create something like that. It's very simple to do. All right, so that's really it for action plans. Let me go back to KW and show you how you know you have things assigned to you. I'm clicking on my KW, my tasks due, and it says I don't have anything due because nothing is due because my listing wasn't starting till Monday. But when I come in Monday, that 0 will be changed to some other number, and it will tell me I have something to do. And then I would click on it, and it would take me over to that page and show me what tasks I have to do. So that's as simple as just hitting you in the face every morning telling you what to do. So you can really organize your whole life. I can create a task for kids' sports. If my kids have sports they have to do, I create tasks for that too. It'll hit me in the head when I'm supposed to do it. All right. So let me answer. Does anyone have any more questions about action plans? And then I'll just quickly show you how to find the KWLS and what that means. Okay. So KWLS is the Keller Williams Listing Service. And what that is, Keller Williams uses that to take our listings from the MLS and push them out to Trulia, Zillow, and about 300 other internet websites. And that gets the listings out there. So let me show you. If I go to Google and I look for one of my properties, let's say 197. This is one of my listings. If I look at one of my listings, you might see up here that that listing address appears on over 169,000 internet websites. And that's because I push it out there and Keller Williams pushes it out there. I also handshake with over 1,200 realtors in the Florida area, in our mid-Florida, and appears on their websites too. But when it is out there and it's appearing on all of these sites, what I want is for the consumer to understand whose listing that belongs to. So the way we do that is through the KWLS. So up here under technology, if you roll over technology, you'll see the KWLS. Now it pulls the information directly from the MLS, but it does not pull the expiration date. Now it's supposed to every 2 weeks update that, but it'll give it, I think, 2 weeks at a time and then expire and then back up and down, and I don't know that that works properly. So anytime I have a new listing, 48 hours later, I come in here and I click on the KWLS and then I enter or edit listings. And then here is the dashboard. Over here, single point of entry is checked, Bradenton, Manatee, List Hub enabled, because List Hub is the service that takes the listings from the MLS and pushes it onto the KWLS for me. So that's List Hub. Over here, so I want that enabled. I want to make sure that my listings pull over. Over here, listings at a glance tell me how many listings that I have in the system that have been accepted. So your market center may not accept a listing if the paperwork hasn't been turned in. If it comes directly through .loop and the paperwork's there, it should be automatically accepted. But if you have to turn in your paperwork in order to get it accepted, it may not be on the KWLS. So you come in here and you make sure that anything that you have listed is all in the accepted area. So I'm going to click accepted and it's going to show me all my properties. And I go through to make sure nothing has expired by accident. So here, this one is expired, and the reason it's expired is I let it expire because I leased it out. So that was okay, and I just let it expire. Some of these have expired because they were transferred listings. And so the transferred one expired, but here the new one is active. Okay. So this is the KWLS. In order to edit anything here, you click on the MLS number. So let's go to pick one of these properties. This one's pending. This one is not pending yet. So I'm going to pick a property, and here is the information. And you can see that the expiration date is the end of the year. That's when this one expires. If you did not change this expiration date, it might say expired, or it might be very soon, or just 2 weeks out. You come down here to the bottom and you click Edit, and then you can go in and change your expiration date. Then you want to make sure that it's active, because if it expired because of a bad expiration date, then it's not going to be pushed out to the website. So make sure it's active, and then you go fill in any other information that did not get pulled over. You can go add that in. The next thing that you want to do is here in your description, type in capital letters, official listing agent. Now you think, I can't do this, the MLS doesn't allow me. This is not the MLS. This is Keller Williams pushing it out to internet sites everywhere. So that you're allowed to do. The other thing you're allowed to do is at the bottom, and by the way, if it's a short sale, you don't have to have short sale first. That's an MLS rule. You could put official listing agent first. You want anyone who sees this on any other site to know that you're the listing agent. At the bottom, for more information, contact Maureen Legas and the Florida Gulf Coast Group at, or find us on our website. Put that in the description, because this is your information being pushed out on the internet. And then here you click the checkbox to lock the description, because ListHub that pulls the data will continue to try to pull data, and it'll overwrite what you just did. So you want to lock that box so ListHub doesn't write over it. Then you make sure anything else that you want is in, and then you click down here to save. The next thing I would do is come to the listing links. And here you make sure that you have your, let's see, it doesn't have my virtual tour here. So let me go find my virtual tour and put it in here. So I'm going to go to ML Exchange, and I'm going to find my active listings. This is the easiest way to do it. And I'm going to find that property. And I'm going to click on the virtual tour. And I'm going to I just copied the link out of the address bar. I'm going to go back to KWLS, and it's probably under virtual tours here, but I'm going to stick it here anyway as another link, and I'm going to type virtual tour and add it. Then I also have this link, which is I call it the property website, and all I did was I went to my eEdge website and I found that property. Well, where is that property? It's not showing up on my eEdge website. Isn't that interesting? So I'll have to figure out why, but you would go to your eEdge website, find the property, click on the property, and take the link from the top and post that here. So this is that link. Featured property website, I just took this from, this featured property website was from my eAgency website. I could type. And I found my featured properties here. And I look for that one. Well, it's not showing up, so somehow it's been lost from KWLS. I'll have to look into that. But you would just pull that same thing. You would go to that property, and you would pull the link on that property from your bar and add that as a link to KWLS right here. The last thing that I do is under images, and this is the most important piece. I take an image and I brand it, because when you are on Trulia and people are searching Trulia and the property pops up, right next to the property on the right-hand side is a picture of some realtor that paid to get leads. And I don't want them next to my property. I want people to know the official listing agent is. Now, you might also want to add a photograph of yourself, so when someone else's photograph is next to you on Trulia and Zillow, that they can see that they're not the same, and they will call you. And then you add that as the first photograph and save your changes. And that's really the KWLS. That's all there is to it. And you want to lock your pictures up here too, so it doesn't overwrite what's going on. And that's it with the KWLS. All right, does anyone have any additional questions? Okay, well, that's really it. Action plans. I am going to get busy. Oh, how do I brand my picture? Okay, let me stop the recording here. Hold on. Let me